This is a quick video about the removal and installation of the P7100 pump on a 5.9 or 8.3 Cummins. Before I started this project, I couldn't find any, step-by-step tutorials that I really liked for this, and I used the TM, and TM was pretty good in step-by-step or whatever, but it's always good to have a video. So here's my two bits. My mind goes about 5 different directions every time, so if I jump around, my apologies. My brain's a little damaged. But here's the truck. It's a 80M923A2 with 8.3 Cummins in it, and had a problem with every once in a while would have a low power issue when you step on the throttle from stop. It would idle great and everything ran great, but just something was going on with the throttle end of it. The distribution area was great. Anti-roll was turned all the way up and everything, but so it got time to where just needed to go and just pull the pump. And so I pulled the pump, but getting ready for it, found out I needed the engine barring tool. It's the same one for 5.9 and 8.3, and then the gear puller for the pump. I already had one for a 5.9 I worked on in the past, but it's a standard, injection pump puller for a P pump. They're everywhere for cheap all day long. Nothing special there. You need standard tools. You need a 100% need a 15 millimeter, the dedicated swivel socket, not the one that attaches to a swivel, but the actual swivel built into the socket. You need that for the back 2 bolts on the injection pump. They're a little hard to get to, whatever the bottom one is, but a little bit of time and perseverance, you can get it, no issues. You need new washers and everything. Easiest thing is to get the sealing washer kit and the that brass copper kit, washer kit. Just have those two sets ready for you. That way you can pick and choose which size you need for replacement washer. Just don't use nothing new. Don't use nothing that was already on it. Use new. But to start it off with, you want to remove, of course, the shutdown solenoid. Take that off. It's a little mount above it and everything, and the electrical connection, no big deal there. Take off the I think it's called the air fuel line, something like that. It's that little hose right there. Take that off, both sides of it. You'll take off the fuel supply line, which goes from there all the way back to right there, the front one. Just take that off. You can disconnect it right here and leave it, but trust me, it takes 2 more seconds to take both ends of it off and just remove that sumbitch out of the way, okay? Take off all the injection lines. Try not to bend them out of the way much at all. They can pretty much stay where they're at to remove the pump. So, the least amount of bending possible for those lines. And then here's your overflow valve fuel return line. Take the overflow valve off and throw that sumbitch away and put a brand new one on it if you're going to be doing it. All right, so we got those few things off. Next thing is going to be taking off the tack drive, the 2 screws right there, plus that big nut, taking the cable off. Take the cable off, take the screws off, pull the tack drive off. Then that big round thing, use a oil filter wrench, turn it counterclockwise and it spins right off. Pull that off, then you'll find a little adapter that actually fits over the pump shaft nut. Carefully pull that off and put all that stuff off to the side. So we've got an exposed on the very end there, and the injection pump nut, that's exposed right there. And then you're pretty much ready at this point to time the motor to top dead center and remove the pump. Now, this is my amateur thoughts about timing this thing top dead center. If you're going to have this pump removed, I do not see what it matters whether or not it's top dead center or not. The motor, you're going to time it to top dead center with a timing pin. You can do it independently from the injection pump. Injection pump, you time it to top dead center with its own pin, and the shop will do it before you get it back. So what it matters doing this before removal, I have no fucking idea. I did it anyway, so I'm gonna tell you how I did it. With the engine barring tool, you'll take that plug out right there, and you'll stick the barring tool in, and you use a 1/2 inch ratchet or breaker bar, whatever, and you're gonna rotate the motor up and towards the motor. That's the way the engine would normally move, okay? So as you're rotating it, you're going to be pushing on that pin back inside there. All right. So you got to get something to push up on the end of that pin and push it towards the front of the motor. And as you're rotating the motor around, that pin will eventually drop into the timing hole on the timing gear. When it drops in, you're at top dead center on this motor. That means the pump is going to be at top dead center also. Now, one thing you want to do then is, I'm thinking, when you get it top dead center, or you can do it actually before, as long as you're holding the motor still with a barring tool over there, take your, I think a 24 millimeter, I believe it's 24 millimeter socket, stick it on that pump nut, and take that pump nut off, okay? Go ahead and get the pump nut off of there. Once you have it off, and then you get the motor at top dead center, you're going to take this off of the pump. You're going to pull the little timing pin out of there and turn it around to where the plastic sleeve area goes inside the pump, and it should fit on the little timing indicator showing that it's at top dead center. Now when you do that, you'll slide it back in and put that cap on. That pretty much locks the pump into top dead center. We got everything timed right. We got all the lines off the injection pump. We got the, well, I didn't say it a while ago, but the throttle linkage. You got the takedown lever. Now let me tell you something about this takedown lever. It's held onto the to a shaft, and on that shaft is a little bitty tiny little Woodruff key. You'll probably lose it. I lost mine. I didn't know it was even there, and I took it off, and so I couldn't find the exact size local, and I ended up buying one, and I fabbed it down to the correct size. Just turned it down with a Dremel holding device, and it worked out. Well, it worked out perfectly, so no big deal there. All right, so now we're on the pump. We got 2 bolts here, or 2 nuts, and then on the other side 2 more nuts. Take them off. Take those dudes off, and our pump should be ready to be pushed out by the puller. And it's called a puller. I guess it's kind of pulling that timing gear off, but to me it's pushing the pump out of it. Let me get up here and see a little bit better. So verify we got everything off of this pump. Go ahead and put your puller onto the timing gear, and you'll see exactly how to do it, because it's a round disc with the 2 holes in the end where the bolts go through it. Tighten the bolts down to where that disc is level on the pump shaft, and start, some on each side of it pushing in with the bolts, and this pump will pop right off. It is not held in there much. It's a tapered shaft, and it'll pop right off. It's really quick. But once it pops off, just very gently, try to guide this pump out from the injection lines without yanking them around too much. All in all, I'm pretty sure this could be pulled off. I can do it in an hour, maybe even a little bit less, depending on that very back bolt back there. But when you get it off, go have it rebuilt, do whatever hell you're going to do. You're going to have to order the O-rings for the face side of that pump. It's a little kit from Cummins, and it's a large O-ring and a small O-ring. That's oil seals. So you get your pump back, put the new seals on there, and the small O-ring kind of just fits on the face of the pump, and you'll need to get a little bit of grease. Thanks, Wes, for the idea to hold it in place as you guide the pump back in spot. So one of the things that's the biggest damn problem at all is when you get the pump back, you're going to install this back, just reverse fashion. This timing pin for the motor is going to be recessed. It's going to be pushed in. I saw the problem coming already, really early in the thing, and I said, well, I don't know how in the hell I'm gonna pull that thing out, because it is tight. In my mind, this motor and everything is at top dead center right now, and I'll pull that pin back out. That gear shouldn't be moving. As long as that flywheel doesn't move, that gear shouldn't be moving. So what I did was I went ahead and pulled the pin out, and I actually replaced my pin also, just so it wasn't 30-year-old piece of plastic stuck in there. But I let the timing pin out for the timing gear, and I just put the pump on, and of course bolted it back in place and everything. And I put the brand new lock washer on the front under that the shaft nut, and put the shaft nut on, and I kind of pre-torqued it. I just got it kind of good and snug, and then I pulled the pump's timing pin out and swapped it around to where it's in the, I think they call it the run position, meaning the plastic piece is not protruding into the pump. And there's a great little video on YouTube about that from an actual Cummins. Well, somebody knows what they're talking about. But swap that around, and then with the engine barring tool, holding that flywheel still, I mean, you've got to hold it perfectly still. I actually stuck it up in there and held my foot on it as I had the torque wrench on this nut up here. You got to torque it to 60 foot-pounds. So I was torquing away, and then hit the 60, clicked at 60, and I stopped right there. And there's always a small chance that thing had jumped a tooth or whatever, by me not having the timing pin in there. But I was, like I said, it was worth a chance, because I didn't want to get this pump on and then try to pull that pin out and break that sumbitch. Have to do it all over again. So luckily I got everything pinned up. Got new washers, brand new overflow valve here, new washers here, new washers over here, brand spanking new shutdown solenoid. Everything nice and locked down good. I primed it. It only took, well, that's a new pump right there also, but I hit it maybe 3 times, and had fuel coming out of the overflow valve, and tightened that right back up, and I had my wife hit the starter, and it fired up immediately. It sputtered for maybe, just no time at all, and it caught right up, and it was perfectly in time, and that was a pretty satisfying. And I've done VP44s before. I've done one P7100 with somebody else, but this is not that big of a job. So if you're looking at doing it, this is nothing to be scared of whatsoever. The pump costs about $1,000 to have rebuilt, and I still haven't asked him what happened with it. It has to be something on this throttle end, because whatever it was, it fixed it. So I would like to call and ask him exactly what he replaced in it, so I'll know, just to know, because it was running so good, and then just every once in a while a couple little small power issues. But other than that, it was easy to prime. Road test had that leaked right there. I had the sealing washers in there, and I took them back out and put in the copper washers, and it sealed the leak up perfectly. I tightened the overflow down a little bit more. That stopped the leak right there, and everything seems to be fine as it goes right now. So anybody has any tips or advice on me, please put a comment on the video, because I'm always looking to learn more about things I might do wrong or incorrect or whatever. Thank you.